James Gandolfini hid a sharp rock inside his shoe before filming, on purpose, because he needed the pain to be real. That single detail tells you almost everything about the kind of actor he was, and the kind of man behind the performance. But it's only the beginning. Before Tony Soprano ever existed, there was a 19-year-old from Westwood, New Jersey, carrying a grief he never asked for. A young woman he'd been close to, Lynn Marie Jacobson, fell asleep at the wheel driving home from a late shift and never made it back. Gandolfini later admitted that losing her redirected the entire course of his life. Years afterward, standing on a stage accepting one of his 3 Emmy Awards in front of millions of viewers, he quietly dedicated the moment to her memory, a private tribute tucked inside one of the most public nights of his career. He moved to New York with no clear plan. He tended bar. He worked club doors at 2 in the morning. Then, at 25, he wandered into an acting class built around the Meisner technique, and something cracked open. During one exercise, he clenched his fists so hard his own fingernails drew blood from his palms. His teacher didn't stop him. Instead, she pointed at his hands and told him that raw, unfiltered feeling was exactly what audiences would one day pay to witness. He nearly didn't get the chance to prove her right. When he auditioned for a strange new HBO pilot about a mob boss in therapy, it went so badly that he stopped himself mid-scene, announced out loud that his performance was garbage, and walked straight out the door. Creator David Chase watched the whole thing happen in real time. Most actors don't recover from a moment like that. But something about Gandolfini's brutal honesty, his complete refusal to fake his way through a bad take, convinced Chase there was something worth pursuing. He brought him back, this time to his own garage, somewhere quieter and lower stakes, and that's where Tony Soprano finally came to life. Even then, the character kept evolving in ways nobody had scripted. In an early scene with Michael Imperioli, who played Christopher Moltisanti, Gandolfini abandoned what was written and grabbed his co-star by the collar. Unrehearsed, instinctive, genuinely menacing. According to Chase, that single unplanned moment revealed the real Tony Soprano for the first time and reshaped the emotional core of the entire series. Off-camera, by all accounts, Gandolfini was almost the opposite of the man he played. Michael Imperioli has described him as humble, gentle, and remarkably self-deprecating, someone more likely to spend an hour talking about a record he loved than discussing his own career. He apparently found talk shows genuinely uncomfortable, convinced he had nothing interesting enough to say, despite delivering one of the most celebrated performances in television history. Then there's the story about the checks. After renegotiating a much larger contract in the show's later seasons, he reportedly called his supporting castmates into his trailer one by one and handed each of them a personal check for $30,000. No announcement, no cameras, just a quiet acknowledgement that the success had never felt entirely his alone. Playing Tony Soprano for 6 years came at a real cost. According to those close to him, Gandolfini would deprive himself of sleep before difficult scenes, letting exhaustion do what acting couldn't. He put a rock in his shoe. He went to dark places, again and again, so that what appeared on screen never felt performed. He died in 2013, at 51 years old. What the people who knew him best remember isn't the menace, it's the generosity, the humility, and the quiet man in Birkenstocks who gave pieces of himself away, on camera and off, so that the rest of us could feel something real. If this story stayed with you, hit like and subscribe. There are more portraits like this one waiting to be told.